The truth is now staring America in the face, and not even the most diehard MAGA supporter can deny it. Walmart, the largest retailer in the United States, just announced that it will have to raise prices due to tariffs. The reason? Tariffs imposed under Donald Trump's policies are beginning to bite hard. And not in China. Here at home, in the pockets of American families already stretched to their limits. In response, Trump did what he always does. He pointed the finger. He told Walmart to eat the tariffs, as if a corporation, even one the size of Walmart, can simply absorb billions in additional import costs and pretend it never happened. This isn't a game of Monopoly. This is real economics. And that one sentence, eat the tariffs, just shattered a lie Trump has been selling since the very beginning of his campaign. Let's be very clear. Trump ran his campaign on a deliberate and repeated falsehood. That tariffs were a weapon against other countries. That China would pay, not Americans. That U.S. companies would barely feel the hit. And that working-class Americans, the very voters who cheered at his rallies, would come out stronger for it. He mocked economists who warned of price hikes, but now the largest employer in America is waving a red flag. Walmart CEO Doug McMillon didn't use political spin. He gave a corporate reality check. These tariffs are simply too big to absorb. Prices will go up, and not just for luxury goods. We're talking about groceries, essentials, diapers, school supplies, the everyday items that American families rely on to survive. Before we dive in, hit the like button so this video reaches many more Americans. Please consider subscribing and sharing to give us a nudge in the algorithm. We're doing our part to save this nation.
Some of the breaking news coming in. Walmart, the world's largest retailer, is issuing a new warning today, warning the company will have to raise prices due to President Trump's tariffs. The company's CEO, Doug McMillon, is expected to tell analysts this on an earnings call today. I'll read you a quote as they sent out excerpts ahead of time. We will do our best to keep our prices as low as possible, but given the magnitude of the tariffs, even at the reduced levels announced this week, we aren't able to absorb all the pressure given the reality of narrow retail margins. Walmart said the prices will begin to go up later this month, and the hikes could put the company also in an uncomfortable position, if you will, with the Trump administration. You'll remember last month, the White House publicly shamed Jeff Bezos and also threatened Mattel's CEO with 100% tariffs after they said tariffs would lead to higher prices.
Imagine voting tough on China just to end up paying more for socks, cereal, and soap at Walmart. Now, Walmart says that prices are about to rise indefinitely. And you know why? Tariffs, beloved. Now, you might have heard that word tossed around like it's no big deal. But every time the government plays tough and they want to slap tariffs on stuff, it's not the billionaires who feel that. It's you paying $9.98 for eggs and $25 for detergent. See, these politicians want to look like they're protecting American jobs, but they're not protecting your wallet. They're playing games with global economics while you're just trying to figure out how to have enough gas in your car to get back and forth to work for the week. Tariffs sound patriotic, but they're really just a hidden tax on you. And the same folks pushing these tariffs, they're the ones giving tax cuts to billionaires, and they don't even shop at Walmart. This is exactly what bad leadership looks like. It's not just dysfunction in DC. It's inflation in aisle 9. It's your paycheck getting smaller while the receipts get longer. And the worst part, they'll blame you for not budgeting better. If you're tired of paying the price for bad decisions, speak on it. Share this. Comment on what item you stopped buying because it's just too daggone high. Let's call it out together.
Donald Trump is now blaming Walmart for rising prices in response to the tariffs, right? And he's saying that they should just eat the cost of the tariffs and not raise prices on customers. And so this tweet from Trump, it seems to reveal what many have suspected, that Trump doesn't really understand how tariffs are supposed to work. Because if prices don't rise in response to the tariffs, then they don't actually deliver any protection. The tariffs, they only work because the prices go up. The tariffs are supposed to make Chinese goods more expensive than American goods. That's the whole point. If Walmart just eats the prices on the tariffs, then there's no incentive for consumers to choose the American-made version of products. And that's even if they exist because they're at a baseline more expensive. Trump's policy is working exactly how it's intended to, and apparently he doesn't like it. You also had Trump claiming that the countries pay the tariffs, not consumers, which obviously, judging by Walmart raising their prices, isn't true. And then on a more zoomed out level, Trump also said that the tariffs are there to replace the income tax and make us all rich, but that they're also there to increase manufacturing. But you have experts saying it really can't be both, at least at the same time. If you import less goods because you're producing more domestically, the less tax revenue you're getting and the less rich you're becoming. Right? And all of this is why we're seeing so many experts saying that this is kind of basic Econ 101 shit.
As usual, I'm gonna do the math to show you why Walmart cannot absorb the tariffs. So let's take a look. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the math. So first we're gonna look at the price of how things are priced out when there's no tariff, right? So the factory, we're looking at the blue line, all right? I color coded them so it's easier to talk about. So the factory charges $10 for the product. There's no tariff, right? The freight, we're saying a container costs $3,000 from Shanghai to Los Angeles, and we fit 10,000 pieces in the container, so that's 30 cents per piece. Now, the landed cost is factory cost plus tariff plus freight. That's the landed cost, right? So that's $10.30. Wholesale cost, so that's the American company that's importing the product that's selling to Walmart. Okay, this is really common. Most of the products that you find in major retailers are sold through wholesalers because manufacturing is complicated. They would need an entire department for that. So it's easier for them to employ US or buy stuff from US companies that are doing the heavy lifting for them. So the wholesale company, to survive and make healthy profit, they're gonna have a 40% margin. That's really typical. Some are lower, some are higher, but that's right in the middle. So they're selling it to Walmart for $17.20, making a 40% margin. Now, Walmart, let's just say for the sake of this conversation, their margin is also 40%. So they would sell this product to you for $28.73, probably pushed up to $28.99, $29 to round it out, right? So yes, it costs $10 in the factory, but there's all of these things along the way. So it's not buying something for $10 and then marking it all the way up to $28 and making, a ton of margin. That's not how this works. So now let's look what happens when we have a 55% tariff. So the tariffs on China are currently 55%, right? So that's the recent 30% tariff plus on about 10,000 different products, a lot of consumer goods. You have the 25% from Trump's last presidency. So add those together, it's 55%. Some are higher, okay? So that factory cost is still $10. Now you have a $5.50 tariff that gets paid to the US government when this product is imported. Freight is still 30 cents, okay? We're just calculating that as the same. Now your landed cost is more, right? It's gonna be $15.80 just to get this product to land in the United States, okay? Now, the wholesaler still needs to make profit to operate and keep themselves in business and pay the salaries of their American workers, and they're gonna mark it up or charge a 40% margin, and they're gonna sell that to Walmart for $26.39. So that's a lot more than $17.20. And then Walmart obviously also needs to make their margin to keep their lights on, to pay their employees, and to make profit at the end of the day, because that's what companies do, right? So now that $29 product is now $44, all right? That's significant. Now, most retailers, most wholesalers don't want to raise prices. This is the last thing they want to do, so they're going to find any way possible to try to reduce the tariff impact on the margin, on the retail cost that you're paying, right? So let's just take a look at what Donald Trump said. He said Walmart should absorb the tariff, right? Not possible. Let's look why. So $10, $5.50, 30 cents, landed $15.80. We know all that. We did that already. The wholesaler is selling at $26.39 to make a 40% margin. And let's just say Walmart, so we're looking at the green line, is still selling it for $28.73 like they were before the tariffs, right? They were making 40% margin before in the blue line. Now they're making 8% margin, which is below minimum cost for operating. Like they would have to close their doors. It does not work this way. A company cannot survive on an 8% margin. Doesn't work like that. So let's say Walmart splits the tariff, which is something a lot of companies have been trying to do. Small businesses, unfortunately, can't really do this. They don't have the buying power, so they would go out of business. But the big heavy hitters like Walmart, Home Depot, Target, those guys, they have the buying power to really pressure their supply chain. So let's say they got the factory to lower the cost to $9, right? Factories usually make really, really low margins, so they can't really go that much lower. They said, okay, we can do $9 to support you, right? So the tariff is going to be a little bit less, right? It's $4.95 now because the tariff is now based on the $9, not the $10. So freight is still 30 cents, all right? So now your landed cost, instead of being 10 before the tariffs or $15.60 if we absorbed the whole tariff, now it's $14.25. All right, so now the wholesaler says, okay, I'm going to also take a lower margin as long as these tariffs last. We're going to take 32% and we're going to sell this to Home Depot for $21. All right, it's still higher than the $17.20 before the tariffs. You got $21 here now. But they're making a 32% margin. This is very, very tight. This is not a healthy margin for a company, but they can survive, right? They're gonna survive. It's gonna be hard, but they'll make it, right? And they want to keep their business with Walmart during this economic uncertainty, right? So they're like, okay, we're gonna get a better margin. We're gonna uphold our business with Walmart so we don't lose that space on the shelf, so we can take this hit. All right. Now, let's say Walmart wants to keep the cost to you. Sorry, that's $28.73. All right, so that means that Walmart would then be making a 27% margin below minimal operating costs. A retailer cannot sell product at a 27% margin and keep their doors open. So even if every single touch point along the supply chain absorbs a little bit of the tariff, Walmart still needs to raise their prices, all right? They cannot absorb their prices. So I hope this helps. And you can ask me any questions if you'd like to know a little bit more about how these things are calculated. But yeah, unfortunately, Donald Trump, Walmart can't absorb the costs. And no matter what, with a 55% margin, costs do need to increase. If we don't want increased costs, we need to lower the tariffs. That's what it is.
DJT is now beefing with Walmart because Walmart has come out and said they will be raising prices because of DJT's tariffs. Like we all predicted would happen. We all said the moment he put these tariffs out, we the consumers, the customers, were gonna pay for it. But for some reason, everyone just thought it would make America great somehow. But Walmart is letting people know, hey, they're going up, and it's because of DJT. And he hates that. He went out on the social of the truth, or the truth that is social, and said the following: eat the tariffs, eat the tariffs. He's mad that Walmart is responding to tariffs he put in. And yet he expects them to somehow keep the prices where they are. No, he expects them to lower their prices despite the fact that he's making everything expensive because of these trade wars. I at least respect Walmart for coming out and admitting that they're raising prices because of him. And I hope they take that extra step that Amazon wouldn't take and put tags showing the surplus next to every single item and letting people know this is how much the prices are going up because of DJT. So they know whose fault it is, because DJT can't help himself. He's done this with every other business that's gone under. This is how he's bankrupt all his other businesses. He has an idea. It's a bad idea, but he thinks it's a good idea. And everyone around him tells him, don't do that. That's a bad idea. But he has to be right about it. So he stubbornly goes through with it until he bankrupts the business. In this case, America. So I don't know, until someone lies to him and tells him, hey, you fixed it. Maybe he'll then back off on the tariffs. I don't know. He's a child. Everyone knows these tariffs are a bad idea. Even the people around him. But nobody has the balls to tell him about it because they know if they did, they would be fired. But also they know it's pointless because he's a narcissist and he's about to bankrupt America. Wonderful. This is just sad. I can't even make a joke about it. It's just pathetic. That's all I'll say about it. You're not crazy.
Okay, MAGA, is it now that you acknowledge that Donald Trump and condescending, criticizing Caroline have been lying to you? Do you remember when they were telling you that it was the other countries that pay the tariffs? If that's the case, then how come Donald Trump is telling a retailer to absorb the cost of the tariffs? He wants them to eat the tariffs.
This man has full on lost his mind. This morning he said that Walmart should eat the tariffs instead of passing along the price increases to consumer. I'm like, have you met corporations?